Hi, hello. Welcome to my, hopefully, weekly Q&A where you ask the things and I answer to the best or worst of my ability. Since this is the first video, we're just gonna kind of wing it, and hopefully if I have enough questions, I'll be able to do one of these videos a week, uploaded every Friday. Videos will contain 3 to 4 questions of whatever is in the inbox that week. If you want to submit a question, link is in the description. With that said, let's begin. So the very first question that I got was very interesting, and I'm picking it right now because it's actually going to pad this video and make it a little longer. So the question that I got was, what's your opinion on the copywriting of colors, and what's your opinion of the work that sites like Culture Hustle do to make them accessible? So just in case you don't know, Culture Hustle is the people that basically made the Blackest Black. Blackest Black was meant to be like a rival to Vanta Black, or something like that. I can't remember the details, but yeah, there's Black 2.0, Blackest Black, Vanta Black. They're all kind of in the same kind of sphere. Before I get too deep into this, I'm gonna go over a few things. So, copyright, trademark, and patent are all different things. And before I go too much into this, I am not an expert in legal stuff. I know about copyrights and things because as an artist, you should know about copyrights and trademarks, because if you're going to be in a business where copyrights are your thing, it's good to know. I'm going to go roughly over like my understanding of everything. So copyrights are for creatives or creative professionals like artists, musicians, novelists, and copyrights help protect our intellectual property. According to the U.S. Copyright Office, copyrights apply to quote unquote work in a tangible form of expression. So like paintings or novels, songs, things of a creative nature you can copyright. Trademarks are for businesses. Those help protect their brand identity and things like logos, names, phrases. You can trademark a color. And then there's patents. A patent is an exclusive right granted to somebody, and it gives them exclusive intellectual property rights over their invention. So these are all similar, but for different things. We can dive more into it if somebody has questions later on, but so that's the surface level thing we've got going on right now. So you can't copyright a color. A color is not a creative expression. Colors exist. You can trademark a color if it is associated with your brand to a certain extent. You can patent a color. And so I think what this question was about, I think they didn't quite understand how most of this works. I do believe that the Blackest Black and Vanta Black and all those, I do believe that they have been trademarked, not copyrighted. And actually, if I remember right, Vanta Black actually has a patent as well. So that is an important distinction to make there. Kind of addressing the whole first part of that question in a kind of roundabout way. So now that there's that, what do I think of the work? Well, I mean, I am not sure how I feel about the trademarking of colors necessarily. I can understand a patent on something like Vanta Black because that actually structurally does something different than a normal color would, right? Because it is absorbing the light in ways that colors typically wouldn't. I feel like Vanta Black is patented for a very specific reason. And the dude that patented that was basically, I can't remember his name, Anish Kapoor or something like that, was basically like, nobody can use this but me. And then the Blackest Black hustle culture was like, well, everybody can use this color except for this guy. And that's kind of the whole thing there. So do I agree with that? Not necessarily, because if you're patenting or trademarking, well, I mean, I guess with patents, you can tell people to basically just not use your products, which is not cool. I think patenting a certain color for just you to use is kind of an awful move, but it is what it is. So I wouldn't say that necessarily they're making them accessible. I feel like Culture Hustle is just countering what a single person has done. So yeah, I don't know. I guess I have feelings about it that I'm not quite certain of. I feel like as long as everybody can use the stuff and do whatever, it's fine. It's kind of a non-issue. That was a very long-winded answer for that one for no reason, but you know, continuing on. This is my thing. It's fine. Okay, second question. Was the pursuit of art and creativity encouraged when you were growing up? It was actually, for the most part. For the most part, I am not a great student. We'll just put it that way. I am bad at the homework and the science and the math and really the only thing I was good at in school was art and English. Even though my teacher hated me, I still got pretty good grades in it. So, but yeah, my mother definitely encouraged me to do a lot of art, and my grandparents too. Like I remember doing artwork and, you know, giving it to my grandmother specifically. I gave her one, like a horse picture, a realistic one, and she still has it to this day hanging up in one of her rooms. My mom too has paintings, and my dad. So art has always been a pretty big part of my life ever since I was growing up. So my father also did a lot of artistic stuff when I was growing up. I remember having little wood carvings everywhere, and like he made a sword one time. So like lots of crafts and stuff going on in my my childhood. Okay, next question. How did you get into art? Who inspired you? And also, when you write a story, do you draw while you're writing to try and immerse yourself in the story? And last but certainly not least, how do you come up with the design for your VTuber streaming model? And did you write out her origin, or did you come up with the origin randomly? So there's actually quite a few questions in this one. So I guess the first part, we actually just answered a little bit of that. I have always been artistic. My family has always encouraged that. So I guess my mom would probably have been the one who inspired that, because I remember always showing her my pictures and my drawings and stuff like that. And then I had my best friend in high school actually was a very, very big part of encouraging me. We kind of egged each other on when it came to writing and drawing, art, all that stuff. So definitely my childhood friend, I would say, also helped inspire me a lot to get better and do more stuff and just, you know, kind of get out of my comfort zone and everything. When I am writing, I don't normally draw. I mean, I couldn't do both of them at the same time, of course, but I typically, if I'm writing something, I don't normally draw anything about it until I would say halfway. I have to be at least halfway into the story in order to start drawing anything. I don't necessarily do it to immerse myself in the story so much as I do it to, I guess, just have that extra like visualization of it, if that makes sense. Because I can see things, but it's just, you know, drawing it also makes it come a little more alive. I do typically draw stuff from my stories. It's usually I have to have a pretty good chunk of the story done before I start writing or I start drawing things from it. How did you come up with the design for your VTuber model? This probably should have been its own video, honestly. So my VTuber is like the design itself. This model or this character is probably about 20 years old at this point. She's gone through a lot of revisions, but I'm dating myself pretty bad here. This character is very old, and it's just it's not. She didn't necessarily have a concrete origin story until very recently. Actually, probably until this past year, I didn't really give her an origin story because she was supposed to be just my online avatar. You know, it was me but online, because when I drew her, I had pink hair. I had the very first drawing I have of her is she has pink hair with purple bangs, which is what I had at the time. And she was just kind of my avatar that I had online. So, and I think she just kind of slowly progressed and grew as a character over the years until at some point she wasn't necessarily she's not a self-insert character at this point. She is her own kind of living, breathing thing almost, you know. Okay, last but not least, how did you come up with the design for your VTuber streaming model? Blah, blah, blah. She's just evolved over the years to become what you see now. I actually did not have any like an origin story on her until this year, I think. And I just started kind of trying to figure out like, I've had little bits and pieces that would kind of get attached to her over the years. And then you just kind of, at some point you have to take those pieces and just try to connect the dots, I guess, you know? Like my computer is called the Athenaeum, and that is the library that that Chaos basically has, where she stores all of her souls and her stories and whatnot, you know? So basically it's a giant library. And so I had to figure out how to connect that to everything. And I got to the point where I think I have everything fleshed out enough to do probably like a big lore video story thing at some point. Who knows when? It's still a work in progress, and she will always be a work in progress. But yeah, the design, so the outfit that she's currently wearing, I actually did a couple different designs and I put it in the Discord for the community to vote on. So technically this is the community's vote for her outfit and like the design that you have on screen. There isn't any concrete place where I just was like, oh, here's the idea, here's where I put it into practice. It's just been a slowly evolving thing over decades, basically. I'm gonna try to do a thing where if I get like 3 writer/creative questions, I'm gonna make the 4th one kind of a fun one, kind of like a silly one. So the question that I got for the last one: who is truly the bestest of the pets and deserves to be the goodest of Doggo or Catto? I'm going to interpret this as which of mine are the bestest and deserve to be the goodest. Clearly Wasabi is the goodest of kittens. He is the orangest of boys. And then Sylvana is the goodest of girls. She's best girl. So we love Sam, but Sam barks too much. He loud. He needs to not be loud. I think that about wraps up this one. Again, if you have any questions that you want to ask, feel free. They are anonymous. The link is in the description. You can ask pretty much anything that you want. I will attempt my bestest to answer. I guarantee nothing, though. If you like this question and answer session, consider liking and subscribing. I stream on Twitch, typically Friday through Tuesday. Thanks for visiting.